here. So again, we got two teams now. Pencils, a lot of people tuning in. That should actually be somewhat familiar to a lot of people. Again, they've been in Diamond now for a little bit, and they've been doing pretty damn well. This FYKU team, though, this is kind of a mix of old school players, but it is definitely not the same FYKU team that we've seen before. But the Karcher, game one has started. So I got a very important question for you. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready, Berkey.
All right, let's go ahead and make this happen. We have game number one, ladies and gentlemen. Again, FYKU 2.0 going up against Pencils here in the Sound Blaster Heroes League Qualifier Finals number 7. So a long title indeed, but let's jump into the game. FYKU, they're going to be on the Legion side, and Pencils on the Hellborn side here, as you can see. Of course, we're already in the lock pool even. Well, let's take a quick glance at the blind bands and how that played out. Wild Soul Magnus coming out here from FYQ. Interesting stuff there. Wild Soul Parasite, though, coming up from Pencils. Nothing too crazy, but Magnus coming out, respecting perhaps some Magnus play over here from the Hellborn side.
Oh, I mean, he's such a versatile hero. You're able to, lately we've even seen him run a few times, even like a suicide or solar lane. He's just capable of really doing anything. With a few levels on him, he can just set up so many ganks, and he's just a dangerous hero and someone if someone can play him well, you just don't want to mess with him. Mm-hmm. And I do find it funny that both Wild Soul was blind banded by both teams. He's just capable of controlling that suicide lane so well, and if he needs to, he can always just go jungle. So
yeah, it's Wild Soul. There is always the argument that if you're the Legion side, maybe why do we still see teams or blind ban him over there? But in the end, just a lot of teams just don't like to play even against him or even with him to an extent. So just going to go ahead and blind ban him altogether, and so that's the result that we have for the overlapping. But into the lock pool, you made a great point, though, actually, about the Magnus. I mean, Stay Green specifically, they've actually been running a bit of Suicide Magnus lately. I know Kazu's been doing that there for them, and it seems like it's actually been working out somewhat. So as far as these locks, though, Aluna the first lock, Engineer Bubbles to follow, and then we had there's so much chat going on, it's hard to keep track. And then we had a Glacius, it looks like, with a Martyr, and then Wretched Hack to finish things off. Kind of a unique lock pool in the sense, look at the heroes that were not locked, including that Keeper of the Forest.
No junglers in the slightest. Yeah, and now they're all being banned.
Mm-hmm. So now that one of these teams apparently want to lock up the jungling heroes. Again, you noticed what I noticed. No Ophelia, no Keeper of the Forest, no Tempest for that matter, who are all available to be locked up. Neither team going that route. I mean, what is your take on that?
I mean, it's curious, because normally what we see is a lockpick is full of just Keeper or Tempest, a lot of times both, and then just everyone wants to make sure that they have those junglers up and ready. But I guess this game just no one felt like running a jungler, and just no one locked a jungler. So the next best thing to do after that is just ban all of them.
Yeah, that usually tends to be the case. I mean, again, if they're not going to be locked up or not blind banned even before that, yeah, you expect them to then be banned, and that is kind of what we're seeing here now with the final ban. Ophelia is still left open, so a little bit of dangerous there coming out from Pencils. Are they going to actually final ban Ophelia or not? Because if they don't, okay, they are going to final ban Pebbles here. So overall, we had Tempest, Jerizaiah, Keeper, Moon Queen, Fade, and Pebbles. That Ophelia, wouldn't be surprised to see him first picked.
Maybe we see him right-click just immediately over there on the Legion side. So, I mean, they left it open. I do find that curious, too, because it looked like they were going to ban most of the junglers, but I guess we'll see what happens. I'm personally curious about this Martyr lock pick. I feel like it might just be a throwaway lock, but I would really love to see him picked up here, because I think he's a very powerful hero with just a lot of turnaround potential. Just your carry gets low. Oh, there we go. First picked Ophelia.
Yeah.
That's not really a surprise.
Yeah, well, I definitely like where you're going with the Martyr idea. I've always been an advocate of Martyr simply because I think he's just one of the most powerful, aggressive support laners in the game. I mean, obviously with that Immolate ability, I think it's called the Immolate, or the Retribute. I call it Immolate for some reason. Anyways, you know why I do that, actually? I may have played World of Warcraft in my days, And that Retribution
Yeah.
icon does look like the Emily ability. That's probably why. Anyways, Retribution, as it's called, anyway, it's a very powerful tool in that laning phase. So now, as the game goes on, I do think he loses a little bit compared to other supports as far as his possibilities. I mean, sure, the ultimate is powerful. It's quite a longer cooldown, though. I think it's only 60 seconds.
Well, I mean, a lot of, like, that is one of the big concerns, but the thing is, he is very powerful. Guardian Angel, you can slap on a carry. And I know for a while, some people were even talking about buying just a straight-up portal key, just so we can hide in the back, and as soon as, like, the carry gets low, you just pop in, heal him all the way up to full, and there. You've already done something already just by doing that. But we'll see what happens here, as it's taking a long time over here on the Hellborn side.
Yeah.
They're really thinking it through.
It's your classic argument of there's just other heroes that are better. It's not that he's bad. It's just there's other heroes that are just valued better. So in the end, though, he's in that lock build, so we'll see. But yeah, you mentioned it. I mean, Pencil's taking quite a bit of time. They're down to 18 seconds in extra time. But Zephyr, Demented Shaman, we see this splash onto the scene every now and then. And going to be picked up here by Pencils. A very strong combination.
Oh, I mean, it is, because you can run it. I mean, you might see it in dual lane, but you can also see it. You can lane that wherever you want if need be. And, we all know what happens when Zephyr gets out of control. Like, it just, it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
But Monkey King and Silhouette picked up here on the Legion side. That's interesting.
Well, you look at the lock pool, you got your support options taken care of, and you do have very possible suicides, either that Bubbles or even the Wretched Hag. So that that makes sense to me. They got their middle taken care of a Monkey King, they got a short lane Silhouette, they got their jungler Ophelia. So a very strong lineup forming over there for FYKU in my opinion. Yeah.
I mean, I'm curious to see what support they go with first over here, because I mean, you have obviously a lot of options to choose from. It just kind of depends on what their second pick is going to be. My guess is that they're going to want to run the Monkey King probably in the solo role, whether it be in the short lane or the middle. But who do you want to lane with, the Silhouette? My guess is probably going to want a Luna or Glacius, just because they can roam a lot more if needed. I mean, Engineer can too, but you don't really have that setup stun like you would with a Magnus or even a Meraxus, someone that can slow, and okay, they go with the Glacius.
Well, the other thing to keep in mind with Glacius, it can also be seen as a takeaway from the other team, because with an Ophelia, we stress that a lot, where Glacius is very powerful against that Ophelia, and so why not pick it up for yourself? So I think it may even have to do more so with that than anything, but again, just having that combination. We'll see if he's paired up with maybe that Monkey King or the Silhouette. That is actually going to be curious.
They could relate with Glacius, I feel like that would be a pretty good powerful laner with Monkey King, because you can slow, do the full combo, and then freeze them.
Wretched Hag.
See a Luna Wretched Hag to finish things off. By the way, they final picked Master of Arms, and there you go, the quick final pick of Bubbles. Again, no surprise there. Now, there was also another interesting thing to me that kind of stood out here in this picking stage, where FYKU 2.0, they actually passed up having the possibility of that Master of Arms Ophelia combination. They instead went the Monkey King route. Now, insight to that is that now that I'm more so looking at it, Pue, who is playing over here for FYKU, he plays an amazing Monkey King. We haven't seen him a whole lot, but I know for a fact that people have stressed that, and we have seen him maybe once or twice here on Honcast. So Pue plays an amazing Monkey King, and I think that's just simply a case of them valuing his play of Monkey King more than having that Master of Arms Ophelia combination. So, but nonetheless, Master of Arms picked up for the Hellborn side, and we are now good to go. There's always the possibility, too, of a pseudo trialing, perhaps, aggressive trialing that is from an Ophelia lineup. So we'll see how FYKU 2.0 decides to ultimately lane things here.
Yeah, there's a lot they can do with it. And, Monkey King is just, if you have someone that can play him well, he just offers so much to the team, because you can just run around the map, insta-give people, and if you need to, you can just initiate just really easily by jumping over towers or whatever. So I'm really looking forward to see how he plays this.
Now, it looks like Monkey King is actually heading towards the bottom lane. Interesting. With Silhouette is ultimately going to be in the middle as she finishes purchasing her items there. She's going to be heading mid. Where Glacius is going to end up, maybe that'll have to do with how the Hellborn team sets up in pencils. But yeah, possibly choosing to send Monkey King bottom. Maybe they're not. I don't know. I think they are, because again, Silhouette's sitting there in the middle of the lane. What do you think is a reasoning for this, Karcher?
They're waiting themselves to see where the lane is their lanes are gonna go. Because, like I said, Zephyr, Diminished Shaman, it could go middle, it could go top. And it looks like they're gonna be laning top with the Luna chilling as well. So it looks like they're going to kind of run a tri-lane for the moment. Maybe Aluna would run around a little bit, but they are going to be able to zone bubbles out if they keep choosing to run that. Aluna seems kind of hesitant herself. But it looks like Monkey King is running back mid now, and the Glacius is chilling there as well. So I think they did see the bubbles earlier, just suiciding up here on his own. So I guess they suspect that Silhouette, which, to be fair, that's easily to be expected, will be in the bottom here. So Wretched Hag should do okay against her. I think Silhouette will have the advantage. But I guess they figured it'll be a dueling mid, and they want to be able to have this Monkey King get farmed.
Yeah.
So.
I'm sorry. Apparently, D&D doesn't work after this last patch, so I have to go ahead and chat disconnect. I love it. I love it. Somebody's gonna get a talking to. Anyways, so yeah, as you mentioned, Silhouette ultimately getting into the short lane again. That's what you really would expect, but they were initially setting up to go mid, but then making those late adjustments, whether or not they spotted something. But sure enough, we got our middle matchup here. Looks like to be that Monkey King Glacius versus right now a Solo Master of Arms. Luna finally making way over, of course, to join up with him. But you talked about Monkey King. I mean, that is his insta-give potential, as you put it. No doubt a hero that can snowball. How do you see this lane breaking down? I mean, Monkey King Glacius versus a Master of Arms Luna.
I mean, for right now, at level 1 here, they do have to play careful, because I definitely think Master of Arms Luna could potentially kill the Glacius. And it's going to be really easy for them, even with levels, for them to kill the Glacius. But, once you have level 5, level 6, level 7 on Monkey King, I think the Aluna is the one that's going to have to be really scared. Now, they do have a lot of disable between Aluna and Master of Arms, but we already see Monkey King right there going in. Glacius looking slow. And, I mean, oh yeah, there's a Skeleton King coming out from Ophelia, and even Bubbles coming in from the top. They really, really wanted that.
Wow. 4-man gank to kick things off. How about that? Bloodlust kill coming out in favor of the Legion team. It was one thing to see the Skeleton King from Ophelia there, but on top of Bubbles coming in, who obviously getting zoned out here at the top side, not really doing too much, might as well assist elsewhere, and that's exactly what Guifix did. So, the other thing that we kind of saw right there, something you just cannot forget about Monkey King, is the distance he can initiate from is ridiculous at times. And that's kind of what we saw right there with the initiation. So you mentioned Glacius might be the one that needs to be careful. Well, Luna just as much apparently, and obviously gets taken out. It's a great start here for FYKU. I
mean, that really gives him a lot of lane control right there, because now Monkey King will have the extra experience. He'll probably have, I guess this is a bottle coming up. He's already got a bottle coming up to him. So he's going to be able to just constantly keep supplying this lane. And, I mean, now because of that, too, we actually see the Glacius roaming bottom a bit, probably just gonna try to help zone out the Hag a little bit, force him to use some regen, and, Monkey King can feel a lot safer now that he has a little bit of an experienced lead, and, yeah, he can just stay there and be safe if Glacius wants to roam around a little bit like he's doing now.
Well, I think if anything, yeah, just kind of getting in that solo experience is really what they can get out of this. Also, Glacius going to protect this bottom rune, which is still here now, past 3 minutes, by the way. Is going to be bottled up by Glacius, though, and, of course, will be eventually brought over to Monkey King, I'm sure. For him to use. So again, just doing a little bit of roaming, giving Monkey King some solo experience and protecting that rune in the end. But for the most part here at the bottom lane, as maybe expected, Silhouette is having a very good time against Wretched Hag. You see the lane getting pushed up right there. Obviously, side blocking the pole camp. The Legion team choosing not to invest into a rev board at this time to get rid of it, so they're just going to let it take its course and work with that. But no doubt, who is playing this Silhouette? Can I pronounce this name? Patsy Mitalk. I hate saying names like that because there's a risk that it might be something horrible in another language. But anyways, this guy playing the Silhouette, again, having a good time, kind of as expected. Pablo McDad, though, plays a great suicide role in general. We'll see what kind of progress he has throughout this game. But then there's the top lane, Karcher. I mean, you do have this free farming Zephyr. How worrisome does that have to be here for the Legion team? Because right now, he is way up there in the goal per minute chart.
I mean, yeah, I was about to say, Silhouette's doing okay, but as you see right now, even the bottom lane, the lane's pushed up, he's having some trouble probably last inning because of that. But, I mean, on top of the Zephyr getting just complete free farm, which will be huge mid-game, this Bubbles, literally the only thing he has right now is the experience from that middle kill. That's it. He's still at level 1, 4.5 minutes in, and that's really, really hard to deal with.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it kind of, again, what you really have to do is, well, compare it to the other Suicide, and obviously him compared to the Wretched Hag isn't even comparable. You have a level 5 Wretched Hag compared to the level 1 Bubbles. Bubbles only 92 gold per minute, Wretched Hag 173, so having a very good time. Speaking of Hag, wow, nearly dying right there. God, that Relentless Salvo, man, which right now is actually still a level 1. He's not even leveling up going the Death Lotus build here. He's level 6, so I'm kind of curious where he puts this next point. Actually, there's a Relentless Salvo. But yeah, nearly getting a kill on a Wretched Hag. She'll go to the outpost right here, the observatory, and purchase a health potion and head back to the lane. But yeah, great point. Bubbles not going to have the biggest impact, at least earlier on. We'll see how that affects them. But again, Zephyr, this is what he does. He kind of snowballs in the sense, especially with this Demented Shaman support. And then you throw, you throw that Master of Arms in there as well for it to help with the push. And then again, at the least, Hag is getting some levels. So expect some earlier on aggressive pushing here from the Hellborn team. I will say this much too. Actually, Zephyr diving Bubbles quite a bit, but not going to get a kill. But again, he can definitely do this. So, God, that's got to be so difficult and so annoying to deal with here at the top lane.
I mean, yeah, there's really the only thing they could do right now is roam Glacius up there. But is that really going to do anything? It's not. If anything, it just increases the chances because Glacius is still level 4 against level 6 Zephyr, who does have his ultimate up now. It's just going to potentially feed kills, and they're going to be relying pretty heavily on... I mean, Silhouette is farming fairly well, but they're going to have to rely on this Monkey King, who has decent farm, but it's not nearly as high up there as the Zephyrs. He's just going to have to really set up some ganks in order for them to be able to contend with the Zephyr come mid-game.
Yeah, I feel like Zephyr's farm should honestly be a little bit higher. I'm kind of surprised that it's only 235 gold per minute, actually. The creep farm, 26 and 15. It doesn't seem like that's the greatest. Maybe that's because he's been aggressive on Wretched Hag or something, but in fact, he misses one right there, creep kill, so another one, yeah, missing out on some creep kills, it seems like. Yeah,
and, I mean, it happens, but, you know, that it does hurt. It begins to add up if you're mid, but, wow, ooh, so fast. But Aluna comes in for the save. Silhouette putting out some more harassment damage because he can, but now Silhouette finds himself pretty low, so before we watch his middle, something happened.
Yeah, I actually didn't catch that either, but seeing that Master of Arms gets picked off, guess what? Monkey King leading the way, and actually VN Sensation on the Ophelia, so once again setting up some roam and assisting in what is now the second kill, hero kill of the game. So seems like he's actually been having a pretty good time in this Ophelia, assisting in both of the kills like I just talked about, and his farm's not too bad, but yeah, I still look at that Silhouette's farm, and again, not the most impressed by it, honestly, when it comes to the overall GPM, and especially, maybe it's just because I'm comparing it to the Zephyr, who is ridiculously up there, but I don't know, again, it kind of just feels like it should be a little bit higher, but nonetheless, he is having an okay time, so.
I think what he's doing down here, like, Hag has been constantly low for the most part, and it's good that he's harassing Hag and keeping him down, but I think it's costing him some CS, actually, when he does it. But, like, he just misses one there, but, you know, we'll see what happens here. I'm sure at some point his farm will catch up if he's continued to farm up.
I'm actually curious, Wretched Hag only has a Ring of the Teacher and a Mark of the Novice on her. No boots even, and actually might be in some trouble right here. Here comes Ophelia. Yes, it's going to be the Skeleton King net. The Minotaur for assistance just in case, but VN Sensation sets up yet another kill, and he is 2-0-1, so he's playing a great Ophelia. This is definitely what you like to see out of Ophelia. It's very good aggression early on, and sure enough, guess what? He's going to group up now and push some towers. So Wretched Hag, again, just getting caught by the Skeleton King shows you the power of that ability right there against her. And they're going to push this bottom tower now.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what you see from Ophelia. Like, she's been roaming around, as we saw, 2 ganks mid, and getting able to, you know, get some early towers, it really helps with early map control and just getting a little bit of a gold lead. Because getting a gold lead is huge, because if you have that mid-game fight, especially against someone like a Zephyr, having a few extra core items can make the difference between dying and not dying. As Master of Arms just gets obliterated.
Yeah, again, this Ophelia, man, I'm pretty impressed, honestly, by VN Sensation and his assistance for the team. And so we're sitting here criticizing Silhouette's farm a little bit. I mean, you look at it now, especially after the tower kill, getting a couple of hero kills, at least assisting as well, and all of a sudden he's at 350 gold per minute. So to say the least, he's actually having a much better time now, which of course is great for the Legion team. And then you can't forget about the Monkey King being played by Pewee here, who is just basically about that 300 gold per minute mark. So seems like overall things are maybe a little bit better for FYKU right now. 3,200 gold lead, 1,700 experience lead. But there is, again, that Zephyr is actually monkeying in some trouble. Forkland, and he is going to connect right there. He tries to jump over. No, the Wanjin Slam not going to be enough. and he will fall. Here comes Ophelia, though. Once again, the net onto Master of Arms, however, not really the biggest follow-up. And the kill will be successful, and the getaway. Meanwhile, at the top lane, Guifix in some trouble on that Bubbles, and he will be dove on big time by a level 9 Zephyr. He just could not get away. He already shell-surfed, apparently, and now this tower is also going to be heavily pressured. Man, the Zephyr, he is getting ridiculous.
Yeah, he is definitely going to be a problem. I was about to say, though, before all that fight happened, the biggest thing that actually has been helpful is because the way just Zephyr works, he's been pushing up the lane, it has allowed Bubbles to finally get some experience. So he's still under-leveled than the Hag, but he will hit level 6 here shortly. But it was really cool mid, actually, because the Banish Shaman, hero we see sometimes, not picked all the time, but he has 3 points in Entangle, so he had that second stun. And that actually is what kind of helped up this set up the kill there on him. And the tick was enough to tick him down, because that's what got him there at the end.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, that you're good.
Okay. Well, I want to actually follow that up, though, with the Demented Shaman. And you know, I am definitely always intrigued by DS builds, because I do know the Entangle, it's always interesting, because if you are going to go Entangle, you usually want to hit that level 3 of it first, because obviously that's what's the maximum potential. You get the 1 second stun of it, as you were talking about, and that's what we see here. In this lineup, though, I kind of feel like you're missing out on the Unbreakable and also maximizing your healing wave. Because, again, when you're building around a Zephyr, it seems like it is all about that mid-game eventual, just group up and push. And at this rate, he isn't going to be able to have, you know, further than maybe a level 1, maybe a level 2 Unbreakable. He won't, you know, whether he'll even have the maxed out healing wave at that point is also questionable. So that would be my only concern right now with this build. We do see the bottom lane once again. Bubbles is going to be able to pour it out. As the tower falls, though, and Zephyr hits level 11. I'm kind of curious, though. I mean, do you agree with me, or do you disagree, Karcher?
I mean, I actually, like, it was great that he did sub the kill, like I just said, but it is actually curious, because especially because he wasn't getting levels in the lane. Normally, if you're going to be stacking and pulling a lot, you would want to see that Unbreakable and that heal. But it honestly, if he can just somehow manage to keep finding the levels, right now he is low. But that's okay for the moment, because you have Zephyr already at 11, and he's going to be standing out in the front lines anyway. But if he manages to fall behind and they don't manage to keep that lead, it will become a problem, because you're not going to have that Unbreakable or those heals to fall back on.
Oh, Zephyr's in some trouble. Oh, he jumps into Zephyr, and Bubbles will die. That was actually pretty hilarious right there. And Guifix also knowing what he did wrong, and now Ophelia's in some trouble. However, Zephyr is going to start falling back, and he'll be fine. But holy crap! They jumped into Zephyr. Bubbles assisted with Ophelia. He actually poured it in on top of him with the Typhoon down, and he just got disintegrated. So, yeah, clearly making a point in chat that, wait a second, that was probably the wrong move.
Yeah, and, that was a little whoopsie there.
By the way, I have no clue who the Zephyr is. Dat Putty Tat. That's a funny name, but I don't know. Again, I'm blanking on who actually Pencil's 5th usually is, to be honest, but I don't...
Sweet Pro?
No, Sweet Pro's in this game. He's on the Master of Arms, so...
Okay, well then...
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I lied. Just kidding. So...
I forget. Man. We do have a lot to pause here, but... anyways, I don't know if it is that their actual 5th, or maybe if it is a ring or a different player. Again, these aren't the Han Tour rules by any means, so they don't need to be on your Han Tour team, so... but, hell, he's doing a great job, whoever it is. He's now 508 gold per minute here.
He's already got 2,000, over 2K saved up, so, I mean, sometimes we see a mock build or where he comes out and, you know, he's just putting out so much area damage, which actually would be pretty hurtful against this Legion team right now, because if we look at them, none of them are really tanky, and only Silhouette and Ophelia have magic armor. So, but you could also see something like a Bearer Idol come out just because they want to get that good early push in, and which I think they will have to do, because eventually Silhouette will. I mean, I guess you can fall back on the Master Farms too, but he's been supporting, so and his farm is not even 200 gold per minute.
Yeah.
And even then, I do think Silhouette would outcarry Master Farms. So I think a mock wouldn't be bad, but I think a Bear Idol might be better. But then again, you do have Monkey King, and all of his damage is physical.
Yep.
So I'll be like, you know, he has some options to go with.
Well, that's actually, I'm glad you touched on that at the last second, because I was going to bring that up with. Look at all the physical damage on the Legion side. Starting with that Monkey King, you're right, and you know something we always like to talk about as Zephyr when we see him now and then is his being deceptively tanky, as we call it, where the armor is actually fairly low. I mean, it's only 6.6 armor right now, which is not the greatest physical damage mitigation. And again, you got the Monkey King, you also got the Silhouette. Her right-click damage is going to start adding up, obviously, throughout this game. So Soul's Bulwark, I think, actually could also be a great investment here for Zephyr. And, you know, we definitely see that from time to time and eventually into the Demonic. So, yeah, I think the Mocker Brilliance definitely would be more of that would be a big risk in a sense because it seems like it's a little bit too aggressive of a build for what you're trying to accomplish.
I mean, if they were able to snag, like, one team fight with, like, pick it up, win the next team fight, they could potentially push, you know, mostly into the base. But it is a risky pick. Souls Ball, it'll probably be a Souls or a Bear Isle, but we'll see.
Yeah, I can definitely see that too, of course. But yeah, it is his choice in the end. Obviously, if he wanted to go Souls, he definitely could have it by now. So maybe not. As far as other item pickups, I mean, again, you think the logic along the lines of them being all about the team push and whatnot. You got Master of Farms, who, by the way, I mean, now that I'm more so looking at this GPM chart, again, Zephyr, impressive up there at 507, but look at the drop-off, man. I mean, Master of Farms is next in line, barely at 200 gold per minute. So it really shows you how Zephyr, in a sense, is definitely trying to carry his team here early on, which, you know, definitely tends to be the case. But an Energizer possibility on Master of Farms, no matter the case, usually you can expect. So
yeah. You know, it'll be useful, especially if you're pushing, because it just allows for everyone to get that little speed up, and it's all around a very useful item. I'm actually glad that's been picked up more and more here in the past few months, because I always thought it was a powerful item, and they kept buffing it. So he's got a double damage bottled up here, and they did have a few hang around here. Diminished Shaman's been hanging around mid as well. So I'm curious to see if they want the tower. The tower right now is very low, and it would open up the map a little bit if they could snag it. But let's get it on. I don't know. It's going to be really hard if, you know, Zephyr decides to show up and push right now. I'm not exactly sure they don't have the damage to deal with it. I mean, unless they got most of the burst damage down, a decent team fight from the Hellborn would pretty much, I mean, Ophelia would be the saving grace. As actually he is initiating a little bit on Diminished Shaman, but it doesn't look like too much will come from that.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Ophelia, no doubt, is very, very useful for the team. But, yeah, as far as the enough damage output, especially with where this Zephyr is at, it is kind of debatable right now. So, again, we'll kind of see when Pencil values the timing of making a push. I'm sure at least getting that next big item, of course, on Zephyr, who's still pooling on more and more gold, man. And I don't know. I mean, the more I'm looking at it, he might be going for a mock at this rate, which I would find to be very, very risky. But it could be possible. Maybe he figures that he is so far ahead in levels in farm that a Mocker Brilliance actually would be a pretty good. And there you go, Sword of the High purchased. Well,
I mean, he's just after he has it. I think it's time for them to start playing aggressive, though. I don't think they should let up that. If they're going to go for a mock, they have to play aggressive.
Yeah.
With it. They can't just sit back and, as tempting as it is to farm, because we're like, wow, I can farm even faster now. It really is. Like, they're just going to have to take advantage of the fact that he's going to be putting out a lot of damage on, like, look at this team. Silhouette right now is the only one above 1,000 life points. Glacius, Bubbles even Ophelia right now, all going to melt fairly quickly to a mock.
This whole Legion side needs to invest in Mystic Vestments, that's for sure. Especially if he's going the Mocker Brilliance. I mean, Zephyr without a mock is a lot of magic damage. Of course, you put a Mocker Brilliance on him, I mean, it just magnifies even that much more. So, but again, I 100% agree with you. I really, again, it's that risky build in the sense that sure you can maybe farm a little bit more with it, maybe get another something like a Soul's Bulwark to follow, but you can't take too much time because if anything, the last thing you want to do is get an item like that and then allow Silhouette to get that early on Shrunken Head. Allow Monkey King to get a Shrunken Head, who by the way has a Mighty Blade on him. So. Very possible he could be going for that, and it would be very smart, especially with these circumstances. So, defensive Master's Call used on the Zephyr here. He takes a Kelp Fuel, but there was really no follow-up initiation, so a little bit unnecessary, but at the same time, you can't blame him. Just wants to make sure that, of course, Zephyr stays alive, and as we always talk about, Master's Call isn't really the longest cooldown, only 60 seconds, even at level 1, so... But yeah, Dat Pootie here playing Zephyr. Let's see when he gets that Mocker Brilliance, which is coming up here very quickly. What kind of use they're going to make of that, and will it be right away or not? So that's the intriguing part right now. But again, you keep focus on the Legion team. I also do kind of wonder if Silhouette is still going to try to invest into finishing that Nullstone here too. Or if she may spot that and maybe change up.
You know, because I'm looking over here at the Hellborn side, and pretty much, unless I'm missing something, I mean, the Entangle, I suppose, is physical, but for the most part, it's all magic. So it's Monkey King getting a Shrunken Head is going to be huge, because it's going to allow him just to move around freely in fights. And I kind of agree with you, too, because a lot of the spells over here coming out from the Hellborn are, you know, there are a few single target disables, but I wouldn't be surprised if Silhouette swapped over to a Shrunken Head, because, again, like, a lot of the damage coming out, if not a majority of it, is just going to be magic. And if you can negate all that magic damage, then, well, what are they doing?
Yeah, and the thing with the Nullstone argument is that it'll in the end, of course, enhance her farm, and that'll be good. But again, it's a case of it looks like it very likely that we're going to see an early aggressive push here from the Hellborn team as the Mock of Brilliance is finished now on Zephyr. So, you know, how much is that Nullstone going to do for you over that Shrunken Head option? So, where again, Shrunken Head is just, it will be so powerful against this Hellborn team, because you're right, there's very little to no physical damage threat here on the Hellborn side. Even later on in the game, I mean, you're still dealing with a lot of magic damage. So, yeah, definitely. Now again, Zephyr has the Mock of Brilliance finished, but going to do some Ancients for now. Not that he necessarily, again, needs to go right away by any means, but interested to see when that timing comes up, as we're now approaching 18 minutes here. So definitely a lot of question marks we have in this game right now as far as where things stand. I also find it interesting, too, for the Legion side. You look at the experience, it's basically identical, but, you know, something we stress here on Honcast is usually it tends to favor the team with that jungler. In this case, FYKU. But they are not above in experience at all, even. So that's also got to be a little bit worrisome. Granted, a lot of that is, of course, on Zephyr, but still.
I did just get a whisper. Relo is the fit for pencils. That's who it is. But
who is it? I'm sorry. Oh,
Relo.
That's right. Yeah, Relo. Of course. Okay. So, and actually, it wouldn't surprise me if that is him. He does play carry very well, and even Zephyr. So that makes sense.
But I was thinking here when the time for them to push is. They might. I mean, we see Wretched Hag down here now, and Zephyr's coming bottom as well. But before I was going to say, they're probably trying to get that Wretched Hag to try to hit level 11, and maybe even Master of Arms. It might take a bit, but we see them pushing now, and this is what they're going to have to start doing, because it's going to be really hard for Legion to respond. I mean, Zephyr is 16 right now.
Takes down a Legion tower.
Well, that's what I want to ask you. I mean, what do you think the Legion team does here? Well, what are their options at this point?
I mean, a few things you can do. You have a Monkey King, so if you're able to snag a support, even a Bubbles can probably do this right now against like a Luna. If you're able to snag one of the squishies, you gotta take ganks so that you can get them. But like if a 5 vs 5 team fight were to happen right now, I think it would be very scary for the Legion team. They've just got to try to keep farming up on their stairs, especially Monkey King. Monkey King with a Shrunken Head will be huge if he can get it before the next team fight. Silhouette, I didn't see what she picked up, but she's got the courier coming to her now. It's the Blessed Orb, so she's still going for that Nullstone. And that'll be good. It'll help. But I'm actually going to say it was probably better if she just... The Sustainer would have been enough to help her keep farming, because she would have had that mana regen or whatever. I think swapping over to Shrunken Head might have been just a great idea, especially when you saw that Mock come out from Zephyr. That was just like, okay, maybe now it's time to switch. But, you know, if we're still not seeing anything hyper-aggressive coming out from a Hellborn side, so if they can just keep farming, that's just going to benefit the Legion side, as we see Silhouette chilling mid right now, so...
Yeah, I noticed that. She's, of course, the Death Load is spinning around here. Here comes Bubbles. Oh, the calculate a half a second too late. And look at Master of Arms, too. The Defensive Master's calling her right away just in case. It's almost as if Pencils expected that something to come right there. So, very, very good reaction, though, on the part of who's playing the Wretched Hag. Pablo McDad, of course, coming out for Pencils. But, yeah, no, I agree with you. I think you can make a safe argument that switching over to Shrunken Head after the Sustainer, because you even said it. I mean, if you are going for the Nullstone for that sole purpose of really just help your farming utility, the Sustainer alone is honestly pretty good for that. You don't necessarily need the Blessed Orb on top of that to make the best of it. Now, I mean, having a Nullstone, you look at this Hellborn side, and And I'm trying to think now as far as what you got. You got the bat blast. I mean, you got actually several
You have a
things
lot.
here. You do have a lot of simple things though at the same time. You know, in a tangle, a bat blast, or not a bat blast, but a haunt.
Right.
So again, it's I don't know. I just don't. I think the switching over to the shrunken head might have been the better investment. But you also mentioned we do see a pencils. They aren't really aggressively pushing just yet either. They are taking their time somewhat in that sense.
I mean, well, we do have over 2K saved up now on Master Farm, so they may be waiting for the next big item from him. But I feel like we now see a Shrunken Head on top of Monkey King. That is going to be, and we're going to see a Nullstone out on as actually they're going on the Zephyr. Bubbles just so fast.
Yep, he doesn't have a Mystic Vestments, by the way, and you need to spend that 400 gold. We do see what Kufa coming out, though. The type is put down immediately, and look at Silhouette jumping as she tree gravels away, though. Zephyr tanking the damage. He's still alive, but finally will be bursted down. You talked about it, the Monkey King Shrunken Head just before that, and guess what? It allowed him to sit there, do all the damage that was necessary, and get that kill. We do see a portal happening, but also another kill happening down here onto Glacius, as Fane picks him off with a red power throw, apparently. So at least they got something out of it, but a Glacius for a Zephyr, not necessarily where you're looking to go with right now. If you're the Hellborn team. So.
I mean, I saw the Unbreakable come out from Diminished Sham, and it was just racing Zephyr, but I don't even think that would have been enough at that point because, you know, I mean, it was just Zephyr and Diminished Shaman down there. Everyone else is, you know, split farming and pushing, which is fine, but, you know, the Legion team responded, and because Zephyr doesn't have a Shrunken Head or anything himself, you know, they were able to control him and, well, just burst him down.
That's a great point. You know, you kind of wonder now, too, speaking of Shrunken Heads, is that something Zephyr may look to invest into next? Or I still think, though, that Soul's Bulwark into eventually the Demonic is honestly the best route for him at this point.
I mean, a Shrunken Head would be helpful, you know, just for Bubbles and Glacius alone. But I mean, basically, if he lives through the burst, I mean, Silva will be pumping out a fair amount of damage right now. But with that extra armor, if he can just live through Monkey King burst and have his team just wailing on people in the background, I really think it's time for the Hellborn team just to group up and make something happen. I think if they continue to keep farming, I mean, we have Bubbles about to hit 11 soon. Ophelia's already hit 11. There's actually Glacius is in trouble, and just he does counter the ward though.
Yeah,
So.
that was hilarious. He knew he was dead, so he's like, "Fuck it, I'm getting the ward," and that's what he did. Ophelia actually running into Wretched Hag right here. The red power throw coming out. The Unbreakable is going to be applied to Wretched Hag though, so she should be fine for now. She ports away, however. Demented Shaman is going to help finish him off though. As actually Zephyr does come in at the last second and picks off Ophelia. So. Good job right there. Zephyr, by the way, he did purchase a Mighty Blade. Now, it could be an Ice Brand. However, he could definitely have that right now if that was the case. So, leading me to believe that it is going to be a Shrunken Head, which he too will have very, very shortly now as a result. But
it'll definitely be helpful. I mean, he could have gone Souls too, but again, Shrunken Head is just going to allow him for the maneuverability. I mean, you still have Ophelia Skeleton Kings and a few, I mean, that can hold him down, and even Monkey King will still be able to bounce him around a little bit.
Yeah.
But the key thing is, he's not going to be, if he does get it, he won't be able to be tied down by Bubbles. He's not going to be tied down by a Glacius Freeze or anything silly like that. So. It will really just allow him to keep moving around and doing damage as he is feeling so ballsy right now. He just runs into the tower and he's like, I can take it.
It's Zephyr, man. It's Zephyr. It's the Shrunken Head is just about being delivered. Talbot of Command picked up on Bubbles. Well, what do you make of that instead of going for perhaps that Portal Key pickup first?
Probably because I think he is, you know, a lot of times saving up 2,100 gold when you're not farming very well can be hard, especially when you're someone like a Bubbles who is going to jump into the middle of the team fight and you know, especially when you have so much to stun and instant disable, even, you know, a little take cover isn't going to be enough to be safe.
Yeah.
So he might just feel like he wanted that tablet because he could buy it in parts, he was able to get it, and it'll still help with initiation. And, you know, it's a little less of a selfish item. Especially if you plan on relying on Monkey King to do the initiating for you, as he could actually be in some trouble, as Zephyr does get the gust off on him, and now they're making chase.
Yeah, it's Monkey King, though. You see right there, he's like, Wanjin Slam and jump a million miles away. So he is going to be able to port out. You see Zephyr trying to chase, but not in time. So yeah, Monkey King does have an Arcana picked up now, and actually, Pee-wee's Farm, honestly, wasn't the most impressive earlier on, but it has, of course, picked up, and you look at him now. He is nearing 400 gold per minute himself, and then there's always the Silhouette who's sitting at around a sustainable 340 gold per minute currently. But again, for me especially, as he is trying to push his middle tower, Zephyr threatening a little bit. Ophelia he'll even coming out actually, as there is a kill down there onto Glacius, but Silhouette well poured out with the illusion as he gets the tower kill just before that. So well played actually.
I did watch what was going on in the jungle. Hag just found Glacius out there doing his thing, and Glacius tried and brought Hag down pretty low, but you know, level 9, level 13,
Oh yeah, Glacial Downpour was used, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a powerful ability. It is.
It did a lot of damage.
Yeah, if he's allowed to get full duration, it could be pretty devastating. But God, if Silhouette doesn't go for a Shrunken Head here, I'm honestly going to facepalm. Because again, it just seems like it's so obvious to me.
I'm actually having a few people tell me now it's Tralfamador and that I was being trolled. So
no, don't believe that. See, that's the thing. Yeah.
I don't know.
Of course, people will say that. I mean, everyone wants to believe that every unknown player now, ever since he left Honcast, is Tralfamador, because everyone wants it to be. Now, again, I'm not saying that it absolutely isn't, because honestly, it could be. I honestly don't know, but I'm just gonna, don't let that get to you, because I don't know if that's true though. But anyways, Firebrand just picked up by Zephyr, so he's actually interesting stuff there. I kind of wonder if he's gonna follow now with an Ice Brand and go for that Frost Burn, which you do see time to time on Zephyr. But staying away from even that Soul's Bulwark, which, just as much as I am adamant about the Shrunken Head on Silhouette, honestly, I really think that Soul's Bulwark into Demonic would be pretty damn useful here for Zephyr, especially against that Monkey King and Silhouette. But going the more damage route here, it looks like, as far as with something like a Firebrand.
I mean, I do agree with you. I think just because it helps taking down those towers too. Being able to, have that minus armor and plus armor for an entire team. I mean, right now, in a lot of way, he's going for selfish items. Because he didn't get a Burial Idol, he's not getting any, he's not getting the Demonic Breastplate. But, it can still work. He's able to put out the early damage, but the thing is, the farm is slowly starting to climb up. We have Silhouette with almost 3k, Monkey King almost with a Health Flower. Mm-hmm. I think their time is starting to run out here if they don't plan on making something happen soon. Now, they did just pick up the token, so I no doubt guess that they're going to utilize it, but...
Yeah, that's where things get a little bit more difficult now for FYK. And if anything, this is the prime time now for Pencils. To really make something happen, whether or not it is right away. Usually we see them let it get down to about 3 minutes or so, but definitely going to take advantage. But something you said there that I agree with is the Hellflower. The Hellflower on Monkey King is absolutely going to be huge, especially against a hero like Zephyr. With that item build, if they can get the jump, which could be very likely, get the Hellflower off before the Shrunken Head is activated, and to continue to burst him down after that. His armor is not necessarily the highest either, even with a Firebrand purchase, which of course assists with that, being the agility, but nonetheless, still lacking in it somewhat. 2,600 gold saved up on Silhouette, so he is pulling up quite a bit right now. And again, it could very likely be that Shrunken Head that we're talking about. So obviously seeing another pause here, I'm guessing, Pencils.
I keep getting whispers saying they confirmed it on Zetfro stream. It is Tralf. So
really,
I don't know. Yeah.
Really. Well, I'll tell you this. I'll confirm it myself with my own ways after
your own ways.
My own ways. My special powers that I may have.
I wonder what they might be.
Well, here you go. Here's one thing we can do. Well, we're in a pause right now. It is a European server. We can test by the ping. Because obviously he is on East Coast, so it should be a lot higher than everyone else. So let's see. Let's see what that is.
Let's get it on.
Let's right at the pause. Just a couple seconds. There we go. Okay. Yeah, it's about 180. That's actually a lot higher than everyone else. Oh, the VN Sensation's also up there, but okay. That's a little bit more reason it is Tralfamador. At least there's a good chance that it might not be a European player. Possibly an East Coast American player. We'll find this out. We'll find out.
We will. We have our ways.
But yeah, again, whoever it is, farming very, very well on good old Zephyr. As Master of Farms. How about him? I mean, usually he's such an impact in every game that he's in, but honestly, haven't talked too much about him this game. As he's kind of just been quietly doing his thing, being played by Zephyr here. Ooh, middle lane though. Demented Shaman is in trouble. There's the deep of the Master's Call, but it's not going to be nearly enough. Demented Shaman just gets bursted down by majority of the team there. And now, actually, the Legion side may push themselves even. Looks like they may push middle here.
I mean, they know, they see Zephyr up there in the top lane. They know he doesn't have a TP on him because, I mean, what is he going to drop in order to get? He does actually drop the token of... Wait, what?
What?
He just dropped the token of life.
Yeah, he picked it back up, but that was kind of interesting.
That was interesting.
He's like, I don't want a token of life. I want to be able to port.
But,
That's a big deal, though. You're right. And, in fact, he drops it. You can't pick it up. What is he thinking? What are you thinking?
yeah,
What the f...
You're just trolling. But
Anyways, Monkey King takes out a Luna in the meantime. Master of Arms out on the run. Monkey King will fall away. Clearly what he was trying to do there was put it on the courier, but really?
wasn't working out all too well.
You think that...
but, I mean...
Okay.
You know, we're starting to see a bunch of kills come out now for the Legion side. They're slowly starting to pick up steam, and the experience lead is, I mean, non-existent at this point. They still have a slight gold disadvantage, but I think they need to utilize this token here in the next few minutes. Because, I mean, Bubbles just picked up a portal key himself, so Courier should have Aegis too. Because, I mean, Silhouette now will be able to buy some sort of damage item or even a Shrunken Head here very shortly if she wants to for this next team fight. And I mean, I'm curious to see where this next team fight goes because I feel like aside from the token, the Legion team will have the advantage going into it.
Well, I mean, that's obviously the big factor is that token of life. So that will be the winning tool here for the Hellborn team if that is the case. But again, it's not like we're saying this in hindsight. Both you and I have been stressing this whole game how with going in the Mock of Brilliance the first choice. I mean, if you're going to go Mock, it seems like you really need to take advantage of that right away. Start pushing with it and start the aggression from there and grouping up as a team. You decide to go a little bit more the passive sense of using it more as a farming tool, which, okay, that's fine too. Got the Shrunken Head. Now he has a Firebrand. But as expected, the more time goes on, all of a sudden you got Monkey King with the Shrunken Head Hellflower. You have Silhouette, who has 4,100 gold now. Very likely going to be purchasing a Shrunken Head here, I would think, as a result of having that much gold now. She's pushing the top lane, so.
The way you look at it is, sure, you got Zephyr at like almost 700 gold a minute, but you have two heroes on the Legion side at over 500. But they are making a push here that you get the one middle tower, and they see Silhouette still up their top. No doubt will TP back, but this is their time. They're going to try to make something happen here.
You were looking at experience per minute, by the way, but still, it is pretty impressive. But anyways, Monkey King going to jump in right there. Look at the Zephyr dropping down a half-life already. Of course, Monkey King with the Shrunken Head up, going to Hellflower, a Demented Shaman, actually. That's who he's going for. Wants to kill him, will do so, but now Monkey King on no Shrunken Head will decide to fall back. Silhouette did buy the Shrunken Head herself, though. She's going to put some damage on Pablo McDan. He'll port away at the last second. Monkey King chasing with a one-handed slam. He's doing his Monkey King thing, chasing with that elusive dash of his, as actually Bobbles jumps in. He gets knocked back, though, by Master of Arms. He will eventually fall. Bat Blast coming out. Zephyr's still alive. Zephyr still has that token of life, by the way. What is the Legion team doing, committing so much? Monkey King, the only one left. He'll finish off both of them in the end. But now he needs to fall back. It is a Zephyr versus a Monkey King here. A genocide technically coming out, I guess, but not really. So that's how it'll end. Wow. I mean, that was crazy. We did see with the Shrunken Heads down the power that Zephyr brings, of course. But, well, the base is saved ultimately, and that's the biggest thing, I think, for FYKU.
I mean, actually, a few things to note out there. Actually, Ophelia was killed by neutrals there, so they did not get a kill over there on the Hellborn side. And they did take off the token on Zephyr, and we saw that they're able to fight, you know, essentially even losses on both sides. So, you know, I think it's going to be really hard for the Hellborn team to make something happen now.
Mm-hmm. It's, unless they somehow get another token of life, I definitely agree with you now. Finishing that Geometer's Bane here on Zephyr, definitely, you know, get an upgrade, and will help with that right-click damage, if anything, and also having that Disjoint is actually nearly kills Bubbles right there, but Bubbles is going to get away as he uses the Kelpit on the illusion, but honestly, you know, that might have been necessary, because even the illusion could have killed him right there.
Yeah, one illusion's still trying to find him, but it'll go away, so.
Red Power Throw nearly sniped him, by the way, but he does avoid it.
Dangerously.
Yep. That he is. But yeah, it's okay. So again, we're in a case of really, is Pencils, did they wait a little bit too long here? I mean, still, we got to look at this picture of you have a level 21 Zephyr with the farm that he has. It is damn impressive, sure. But you got a Silhouette and a Monkey King especially, who's really up there himself. Here we go, off at the Master's Call on a Zephyr, actually chasing Glacius, really wants to kill Relo, my bitch. And actually is going to gust him in right there. And A couple of auto attacks later at least picks him off. So he's down for 40 seconds, actually. It will be a 5 versus 4, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, Glacius is Glacius, but he's still helpful. He's still doing something on the table, and they're going to keep pushing. They will have to use the immunity, and it's going to be
Takes down a Legion
pretty hard for them to deal with this now. If they can get a Rax, getting a Rax would be huge, and I pretty much see them getting it. We see Bubble Cell shirking in, but you take it away.
Yeah, Monkey King jumping in right there, gonna absolutely burst down Wretched Hag off the bat. Shirking out of Zephyr though, chasing Bubbles, but Bubbles gets away in time. Silhouette in the meantime in the foreground. They're going for the supporting cast. They're not worrying about Zephyr. I'm honestly not sure about that, as Silhouette is falling back. She'll barely survive. Monkey King now needing to get away as well, and so does Ophelia. Zephyr currently at half life actually. Gonna get the amp damage on him, but again, he has the supporting cast still nearby. Glacius is back up. Red Master's Call coming out. Melee Rax is down though, and the Hellborn team falling back. So, I mean, that's interesting. It's I can understand where you're coming from if you're FYKU from one side, but on the other, especially with the build, Zephyr has decided to go. I kind of feel like you can focus him and burst him down.
I do agree, because, I mean, his Shrunken Head now should... oh, it's bugging out on me for some reason. I can't scan it. He has...
8 seconds.
What? 5 seconds left. So,
8 seconds, 8 seconds.
So, oh, okay, yeah, then it's lying to me. But, now he picks up his souls, so that'll be a strong pickup, of course. But I see what Monkey King was... His objective, or what he's trying to do there, was at least just hop around in the background and kill everyone else, because he can. He has Health Flower, and I'm pretty sure with a Health Flower and a full combo, I mean, I think even Master of Arms might be able to handle it, but all Luna, Hag would be a good target, and Diminished Shaman are all just going to drop, like, instantly. So, if he can move around and kill everyone else, then the Zephyr, you know, he's still putting out damage, but he can be crowd controlled. But I think right there, you're right, he was already sitting at half-life before they really even started, like, they had been, you know, just exchanging, you know, some basic fire between the two, but I think they could have bursted down the Zephyr. But, you know, at the same time, you do have to remember the Monkey King was bouncing around in the background, and a lot of the Hellborn team was, well, messing with them. So it was an interesting fight, but the Hellborn team came out on top just because they got that Rax.
Yeah, no doubt. But again, it's for sure. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm 100% right and they did a stupid move right there. I mean, it is very debatable, and again, might be a hindsight thing in the end. But now with the Soul's Bulwark, as you talked about, that was picked up recently on Zephyr, it does take away a little bit, especially if he finishes a Demonic Breastplate. Again, his armor will now start to get up there quite a bit, and he will become much more of a beefy presence. So Zephyr using one of his illusions pushed up to put some harassment out. But not something else you constantly have to keep in mind, though, especially with FYKU side. So sure, they lost a Rax, but this is more and more time being spent. And look at Monkey King, by the way. He has nearly 5,000 more gold saved up. So he's going to be getting something pretty big here. I'm actually very interested in maybe finishing a Demonic himself, actually.
I was about to say, at this point, both Zephyr and Monkey King probably wants to make sure, seeing their situation right now with the one lane down, before he buys his next big item, he probably wants to make sure he has at least that one buyback ready. But I would not be surprised if Soul's Bulwark comes out, because it's just going to be able to, you know, if Zephyr picks up his own, I guess it'll cancel each other out. But, you know, it'll be a strong pickup, because as we said earlier, you know, actually now he has about 21 armor on him, mostly because of the help of the souls. But it's still going to help taking out all the squishies on his team even quicker. I mean, Hag is still sitting at, what is that, 9 armor? Diminished Shaman at 5, Aluna has 14, but still, it'll be a big pickup. But guess we'll see what happens.
You know, another big pickup, actually, that we just see is the Barrier Idol on Ophelia, actually. That is a huge pickup,
that is big.
For the Legion team.
Yeah, another hero, actually, we haven't really talked about all too much at all, is Sweet Pro here on this Master of Arms, who's just been, you know, he's been farming pretty the entire game, but as we see him move actually to the Condor Pit, but he does have Geometers, and it looks like he's working on a Shrunken Head himself, so, you know, if he can slowly pick up items too, then they still might be able to contend these team fights a little bit.
Yeah, you're right, and then there's always the Wretched Hag, for that matter, too. I mean, she's had her health flare now for a little bit, her Shrunken Head also coming up here. So yeah, there is actually, you know what, might have been an oversight by us, but there is actually a lot more late game potential on the Hellborn side than we're giving credit for. I will say that much right now, but it was more along the lines of, earlier on in the game, it was all the farm going on Zephyr, and this supporting cast, even Master of Arms and Wretched Hag, weren't getting much to anything. But as this game has progressed now, 30.5 minutes in, they actually have bought in the time to get more and more farm themselves, and we're kind of seeing an example of that. So that is true. And now you do got a shrunken, or not a shrunken, but a token of life onto Wretched Hag. As ooh, interesting there. Monkey King going the Assassin Shroud pickup actually. With his build. Eventually Genjiro, of course, but getting some more damage potential out of himself. You like that?
It's definitely an interesting pickup, and I mean, let's face it, the Hellborn team probably doesn't expect that themselves right now. They don't have any dust, they don't have an eye on them or anything. So he might be able to, you know, if they push, like, I mean, now they know he has it, but, in fact, is there anything on the courier coming up? No, it's just Trainhead coming over on the courier. So if they push this, Monkey can potentially just sneak in behind someone and just run on in and burst down someone. So it's actually a pretty interesting pickup, and I'm curious to see if it actually plays out the way he hopes, because I suspect he wants to be able to just sneak in here if they push and bust out that team fight. But, you know, if they do decide to pick up Dust or an Eye or something and they see it coming, it's... But, of course, there is always that, you know, extra damage on his first attack.
Yeah.
So...
And I think, if anything, too, ever since they allowed the upgrade of the Genjiro on top of that, it made the item itself just a lot more purchasable. So,
yeah.
In fact, there you go.
There he goes.
Cute. Genjiro purchased.
The downside is he's not going to have a buyback if he dies here in this fight. So that could be a little bit scary.
It's an all-in, but it's a lot more damage output for himself and a lot more in the end. Portkey was picked up on Silhouette too, by the way. So here we go, though. Zephyr, level 23, of course, Demonic Breastplate has been finished, so again, he is actually pretty damn tanky now. You throw a Stormcloud on top of that. Hellfire is going to be used on him, actually. They're going to try to initiate. Zephyr dropping, and because Breakable, he's still dropping. Will it be enough? Zephyr dropping, yes, they will kill Zephyr at the end, and that's exactly what I was talking about. Even now with the Demonic Breastplate, they're still able to burst him down. Demented Shaman falls, and the supporting cast is on the run. Zephyr can buy back, but it's just not worth it at this point, as the rest should be able to pour it out, it looks like. But again, it seemed like it could have worked even earlier, but it does work this time for FYKU. And so now you got to wonder, the pencils, once again, did they wait a little bit too long here?
I mean, they noticed that this time Zephyr with essentially full items. I mean, the only thing you can get now is a post-haste to replace the boots, I'd imagine. But, or maybe even replace the helm with a heart.
Yeah. But,
you know, they were like, well, we can burst him down, and they did. I mean, Wretched Hag has a token of life, but... You know, she's still putting out some damage, but you already have the Shrunken Heads coming out on your two big heroes, so they were able to stand there, deal out the damage, and not have to worry too much.
The Legion takes down a Hellborn Tower!
And, well, I think the other thing, biggest thing, too, is you look at the damage chart, and, of course, Zephyr is just up there. 25% of the overall heroes, so he's a quarter of the hero damage done in this game overall, obviously. Very impressive, but it dies off big time on the Hellborn side, especially with that Wretched Hag is what I'm looking at. Only 6% hero damage for a Wretched Hag. Very, very low. So it kind of goes back to what you mentioned there is, I mean, sure, she still has a token of life, but, you know, is that the biggest deal? I mean, was she the most threatening thing there in that fight? Absolutely not. The Zephyr, of course, was, and they took care of that right off the bat, and it kind of showed you how the Hellborn team, once Zephyr's dead, they lose, of course, a lot of their power. So post-haste is purchased, by the way, by Zephyr as soon as he resurrects. So he will have that option, and I think we said as well with the Helm of the Black Legion, turning that now into a Behemoth's Heart is really the only thing left now for him at this point. So we'll see if it gets to that point, and honestly, it very likely could. We're now 42 minutes in, so honestly, still possibly very, very much game left. As
I mean, yeah, they're still, like, the Hellborn team is still in this, obviously, but they did lose that big team fight bottom, and, I mean, what, Zephyr has pretty much hit his peak as Master of Arms just completely burst down.
Yeah.
So fast, and that could be an opening if I mean, you do see the split push coming out. Geometer's Bane is actually being really helpful on this Zephyr right now, and, you know, it's allowing him to push out the lanes if he's not there, especially with post-haste now. In fact, we might see some crazy split push now come out from the Hellborn side, just because Zephyr knows he has that Geometer's Bane. He can have the illusions push, have that little mock effect going, and just move over to another lane and fight if he needs to.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the Legion team, I do think, is stronger now in overall team fights, but, you know, just having that one Rax down is such a big deal in the middle lane.
Of course, yeah, that will constantly continue to be a pain in the butt for FYK to have to deal with as it usually is. Ooh, Wretched Hag blinking in aggressively right here. But she's the one that might actually be in some trouble. Bubbles coming in with the Song of the Sea. Silhouette's chasing. Can he get a range for the Trigger Apple? No, he can't. Hellflower on a Bubbles, actually. Shrunken Head going to be used. Here's a Bat Blast coming out. Look at that. Wretched Dad going for a counter kill. Red Power Throw even coming out, too. But the take cover from Bubbles easily keeps him alive. How about this, though? Monkey King now on the chase. Using that Genjiro. But it doesn't look like he's going to find anybody. And in the end, everybody staying alive. So... the goal difference, though, it is identical at this point as far as goal difference. It really is, and it's about a 9,000 experience lead now in favor of FYKU. I mean, how about this? Monkey King, always known as a snowball early hero, but his late game impact is honestly very significant here for our Legion team.
Oh yeah, the fact he's just able to hop around in all these team fights, I mean, it sounds weird, but he's even hard to target with a lot of these single target spells that they have when he's bouncing around everywhere. But you know, he's just putting out so much damage, over like 300 alone, not including all of his like burst type skills. So, and then on top of that, you've got a Silhouette who now has 4,000 saved up. Goodness, like, I mean, she's probably going to go either Geos or Savage next, I'd imagine, or Shieldbreaker. That works. And that actually helps a ton, because now, I mean, Zephyr's even going to have less armor.
Yeah, I love that choice.
Yeah, that's a great pickup, actually. Just being able to have more minus armor as Zephyr runs forward.
Zephyr is going ballsy here, but will this work out in the end? Shuriken's going up. Zephyr figuring this needs to be a prime time here. A Silhouette, that's an illusion. It will end up falling. The Typhoon is down in the background. The melee racks, it may actually fall. And vulnerability coming out. Monkey King's here, though. So here we go with the damage. Zephyr diving. Or that's an illusion, actually, but the real Zephyr trying to fall back right here. Demented Shaman getting bursted down. Monkey King jumping in the background. Monkey King starting to drop himself, though, actually, after the Shuriken wearing off, so getting back. Zephyr still taking the damage, but the damage still outcoming, especially from the Silhouette. Hellfire is applied, but he's going to stay alive for now. So Glacius and Affiliate are dead. The only death right now is Demented Shaman. Melee Rax goes down, and that is exactly what the Hellborn team wanted. So they'll be happy with that, and now going to fall back. So this time it works much better. Monkey King wasn't there initially. I definitely think that was the biggest deal. But still, Pencils, again, they are able to make it happen, and they get, at the very least, the melee racks.
I mean, yeah, I mean, again, I mean, these fights were close, and, I mean, obviously only Diminished Shaman and Glacius died there, just to show how strong they are. I don't think there were any buybacks, but now, I mean, as strong as the Legion team's fight is, with Monkey King and Silhouette, having 2 racks down, that is a lot to deal with, especially when you have the Zephyr, who's just moving around to every single lane with that post haste, even though Monkey King, nah, he's not going to be able to catch up. But it is harder for them now, despite the fact that they probably do have, I would still say, even that last team fight went both ways. I mean, you saw Zephyr just Rambo win. He was like, nope, I'm getting this melee racks, and there's nothing you're going to do about it. But actually really interesting is I saw Master of Arms just pick up a Storm Spirit out of nowhere.
Really? Yes, he did.
Wow. There probably because he realized, well, you know, if he can just keep Zephyr alive or one of those carries alive, don't matter who it is, as long as it can stay alive for a few seconds, then that can be a big deal. What?
Wow, that is what? Okay, Doombringer just purchased by Monkey King. Now, not only do we rarely see this item, but there's only been 1 buyback used overall by Ophelia. I mean, usually you would see it if there's like no buybacks and it's just so close back and forth in fights. That is a risky pickup here by Pewee, but at the same time, look at his damage output, 559. And he did just run right past a Ward of Sight. I honestly think he was spotted with it, and that will completely ruin the surprise factor now. But, wow. The Karcher, how about your debut cast here on Holland Cast? You're going to see a Doombringer.
That alone is exciting. But, you know, I've always thought, aside from the fact I enjoy a Doombringer pickup just because it's about as manly as you can get, I mean, really the thing is, I've always thought a Doombringer isn't an item. I mean, we've seen in pub games, it's always picked up because you're winning. But I remember one game a while back when a Flimp Beast would. I don't remember who it was.
Papa Dreyich.
Yep, it was Papa Dreyich. He picked up a Doombringer, and I thought, well, when you think you're down, picking up a Doombringer is very much like, well, we can turn it around. So they realize now they're in a dangerous spot, and he's like, you know what, I have the money. Let's just get a Doombringer. You know, they are down. They've got melee Rex down in 2 lanes. They realize that Master of Arms is slowly getting bigger. You know, Hag is still doing a lot of damage. It's just like, you know what, we might need that Doombringer. And if we get burst, like if he dies at this point anyway, I mean, yes, he could have had a buyback, but it might not have done anything. Having the Doombringer though, and just being able to burst down that Zephyr even faster. I mean, my God, over 550 damage. That's on a Hellflower on top of that. That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage.
At this point, too, you don't worry about buybacks either. I mean, it's if you die, obviously now it doesn't mean the other team gets the Doombringer by any means. Of course, it needs to be picked up by someone. I'm sure that'll be a pretty chaotic moment if it happens. But at this point, I honestly think as soon as you get enough gold to finish that demonic breastplate, you just do it. You don't worry about buybacks when you have a freaking Doombringer on you. You just go all out. That's the definition of all out right there. Now, interesting spot going on right here. Look at the Hellborn team. They're lining up as a team even. They're like, we're ready to fight. Let's do this. Congar, of course, of interest here for both sides, as he would tend to be now. 49 minutes in, I believe he's only been killed once, if I'm not mistaken. No, he's been killed twice, actually. So this would be the third Congar kill, remember. And that obviously means good old Banana is going to be dropping from Congar. So,
you know, the funny thing is here, though, like, yes, Congar is no doubt what they're contesting over, but should a team fight happen, it's not really going to matter who gets Congar at this point, because if that Doombringer drops, then you know that, you know, Master of Arms or Hag picking it up is going to hurt like hell. And that might be too much for the Legion team to handle with 2 racks down. But at the same time, if they win, they're going to snag Congar. And having a token of life, I don't know what you would drop if you're Monkey King, maybe even your boots at this point. But you have a Doombringer token of life Monkey King. It's...
I kind of wonder. I wonder if Zephyr is going to... We talked about the idea of a Behemoth's Heart, which definitely would be great, but... Now that especially you see a Doombringer on the opposition, do you just go Doombringer yourself? Clearly Zephyr not as, you know, of a right-click hero as even that Monkey King, but still, I mean, why not? I guess so.
I mean, I guess you can't disassemble the Monkey King. You can potentially sell it, I guess, for that. But you could, but he doesn't do as much right-click damage. It's just not how his hero works. But at the same time, getting a heart, is that going to make that much of a difference against the Monkey King Doombringer that goes on you? And you know, really the scariest thing about all of this is, if you look at it this way, Monkey King will have 5 seconds with Shrunken Head up, where I don't think, there's nothing over here on this Hellborn side.
Oh, here we go, Hellflower applied, Kelfio coming out, Wretched Act up in the background, Monkey King taking this up damage, Monkey King needed to fall back, Ophelia heal's going to be used, Monkey King going back in with that Gush, Shrunken Head going up, but Monkey King is so low in life, he's still balls to the wall mode, he's trying to run away with that Genjiro, looks like he might be fine, in the meantime Zephyr might fall as well, Zephyr will fall, Monkey King still being chased, no, they're going to kill him, the Doombringer is on the ground, who's going to pick it up? It's going to be picked up. No, nobody's picking it up yet. Nobody's picked it up. Finally, Master of Arms picks it up. I'm not even sure what he sold right there, but he sold something. Aluna will fall, but that is why. That is such a risky pick right there. Monkey King ends up dying. He was honestly playing very ballsy right there, and that was a awkward initiation, I'll say, too. Coming out.
I mean, Bubbles did get the trap down quickly, but unfortunately the follow-up just wasn't as you see bottom, no doubt. Like, those creeps are just pushing in that entire time. I mean, it was actually a bit of it. Monkey King got so many members on the other team so low. I mean, eventually a lot of them did drop. You see Aluna, Dimension, and Hag all dead. But, I mean, yeah, they tried to go in. They saw a little bit of an opening, but they just followed up a little bit too late and allowed the Shrunken Heads to get off. And, I mean, we see the result. Now, Master of Arms is probably going to get the kill here. Probably drop his Mighty Blade, I would imagine, at this point, and pick up either probably a Token of Life, because he doesn't actually sell his boots. As Bubbles ninjas the bananas, he's gonna drop, but he got the bananas.
Well,
YOLO.
He got the bananas. That's exactly right. But now he's dead for a minute, and the Hellborn team, it's, you know, if you're the Hellborn side, you might want to think about pushing. He doesn't have a buyback either, so definitely taking advantage of him being down. Now, God, I mean, for Monkey King, again, it speaks for itself with the item Doombringer, but I gotta keep saying it. That's why it's such a risky pickup. You love the ballsy choice, but now not only, I mean, did he lose it, but I mean, you look at him now. He's still powerful, but he used how much is Doombringer? How much exactly is it? It is 5,600. So he spent 5,600 gold in an item he no longer has in his inventory. Because of what happened, so. I
mean, I guess it's just gonna be so hard now with Master of Arms with Token of Life.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say burst him down and pick it up, but
no,
you're not even able to do that. So
they need a miracle at this point, honestly. Again, that was the risk. It did not pay off, and we are going to see the Hellborn team as they should. They're just going to start pushing in now. Bubbles will be up shortly, but will it matter? Monkey King's ready to go in. Is this going to be the moment of truth right here? He puts the Wanjin slam down, but not really any follow-up coming. You look at Master of Arms. Honestly, he's playing very passive here, even with a token of life.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him because he knows he doesn't have a strong head on like everyone else. He's got a Storm Spirit, but he can be potentially burst down pretty quickly twice. So he's just not taking any chances. Plus, you can wait for the other 2 lanes to push in, as we already see some creeps running into the well towers right now.
We've got Typhoon and Shrunken Head to be used on Zephyr right there, so not really the most follow-up, but now we'll see if they can maybe get a reset going. Nope, the Hellborn team falling back. Monkey King trying to chase, actually is going to catch Dimension Shaman right there, and here we go. Monkey King starting to take a lot of damage on the Doombringer. Master of Oz doing plenty. Silhouette in the foregrounds, doing damage himself. Storm Spirit going to be used on Zephyr right there. Monkey King will finish off Dimension Shaman, but now he's on the run. Zephyr gusting him back in, trying to finish off. Master of Arms still holding his ground, takes out Silhouette, takes out Monkey King, so they killed Zephyr, but it doesn't matter. He buys back anyways. Vote to Concede coming out. And I'm pretty sure that is going to be doing it as no actual concede just yet, I guess, but maybe not just yet. But yeah, it's it's very possible to be over. As you see another kill happening. Silhouette did buy back. Monkey King cannot though. And actually, Silhouette is going to finish off Master of Arms. So again, the token of life bringing him up though. He's going to be gusted in, and the Doombringer damage happening.
Yup.
And he will fall. So
I mean, just look at the base. It's basically over now, but you know what? I still don't think the Doombringer was that bad of a pickup. I mean, I think they needed to make something happen, and actually, I'm kind of shocked we don't see Doombringer more often, but I really do. I think it's a good, like, you're down, well, let's just try to make something happen. But, let me tell you, I am very happy that, like, we casted this game just now.
Yeah. It was a great game. It really was. And again, we knew the potential was there with the matchup. Definitely knew that, but it's to get a hell of a game out of it. And that was just game number 1. Obviously, it is a best of the 3 series, so we are going to be taking a short break here and coming back with what will be game number 2. But you know, you said it's okay. It's obviously Doombringer's never a bad pickup. Let's be honest. It's always an awesome pickup, a manly pickup, but it is a very risky pickup, and it's one of those very high risk but can be a very high reward. But in the end, that started with the awkward initiation. You know, the team didn't really follow up Bubbles the greatest. They weren't even sure. Then Monkey King kind of got gusted in, and it was very awkward. And he was more so worried about surviving than he was about using the Doombringer, I think was the biggest thing in that fight. So there we go. There you go. That is going to do it for game number 1, though, with Pencils taking on FYKU, of course. So Pencils taking the first game. But again, got a break coming up. So sit tight, guys. We'll be taking a short break here, and we will be resuming with game number 2 in just a couple of minutes. Sound Blaster Heroes League, stay tuned.